Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from beautiful, cloudy San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, and purposeful coach and speaker in the world. I hope you guys are excited for this wonderful day today. I would like to have a conversation, if you will, for all people, yet this will only excite 2% of the nation if statistics prove correct. Only 2% of the nation's people, inhabitants, will be with this message. 98% are going to have a very visceral response that's going to be like, I don't know about that. And that is okay. You were wired from birth with a certain temperament. So my discourse this morning will be to, number one, encourage those who are of the 2% to keep doing what you're doing, and to bring understanding to the 98% who believe the 2% are cray-cray. That is hood for crazy. So I hope that this discourse brings understanding so that people can live a bigger life. Are you ready to go? Let's do it in 3, 2, 1. Most people are wired to mitigate risk. They are wired to minimize the potential negative consequences of decisions that were made without all of the detail, data, and information before making those decisions. Let me say that one more time, because I go deep real quick and it's easy to lose what I'm saying if you're not following track. Most people are wired and designed to mitigate risk, to do everything in their power to minimize the risk of loss or many other things that is associated with making a decision or taking action without all the data and the details and the facts and the figures before executing. Most people are wired that way. It is a way to play it safe. It is a way to be very comfortable. It is a way to move forward, getting every bit of data you can before taking action so that you minimize the risk or the challenge that could come from losing or messing up, or as some people would call it, failure. Now, I interpret failure differently. 2% of people interpret failure differently. They don't see it as failure. They see it as feedback. They see it as the opportunity to begin again with more wisdom and experience, with having learned what does not work. Mr. Dyson disrupted the vacuum cleaner industry, which sucked, by the way. I hope you get that. Which sucked, by the way, the vacuum cleaner industry for years, and he reinvented again and again and again 5,000 plus protocols and options before he finally came up with his Dyson. Now he is a billionaire that has changed the lives of many people. Now, not only do the vacuum cleaners work a little bit better, they actually look pretty nice. Edison, 10,000 times plus to create the light bulb. When asked how did it feel to fail 10,000 times, he said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I discovered 10,000 ways that did not work. You can see he was doing the stuff. So here's my point. There is a time and a place where that type of risk mitigation is not only necessary, it is a professional demand. For instance, if you worked at NASA and you were indeed a rocket scientist and you were indeed launching rockets with people on them to go to the moon, you do not want to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off and then figure it out. No, that's insanity. You don't want to build a bridge or build a building without measure twice, 4 times, 8 times, 16 times, 32. Measure, then execute. So don't be weird on me, people. There are times and instances when certain professions call upon the precision and dedication of perfection and accuracy before executing. My point is this: most people are in the habit of doing that same thing in matters that are extremely important yet do not have fatal consequences. What am I talking about? How's your marriage? You're probably having marriage problems if you're married. And if you don't think you are, you might be the problem. Ask me how I know. Guilty as charged. You're always working to have something greater and better. That many times requires input from other people. But most people will avoid it. They will avoid even the option or the opportunity because of a habit of wanting to perfect things before taking action. Think about the irony of this statement. No, I don't want to go to church with you because my life is all messed up and out of control and jacked up and I'm spiritually in a weird place. Let me get myself together, then I'll go to church. Do you see the craziness in that? It's like, no. Come to church to get all that stuff fixed. It's like the guy who says, I want to join the gym, Steve, but I'm 50 pounds overweight and I would be embarrassed to go in there. So let me lose weight and get into shape and then I'll go to the gym. No. Do you see the insanity in that? Okay. So this is the same situation. The situation is simply this. You may be in a habit of professional procrastination. You may be in the habit, okay, of delaying execution to the point where you never execute because you're always getting ready to get ready. Always studying, always learning, always preparing, always trying to figure it out before you take action. And the problem is 98% of you are in a habit and you will not take the action. So let's use a simple example as I wrap this video up. Riding a bike or swimming. You can study for 3 years straight in a classroom with Lance Armstrong on the mechanics of riding a 10-speed bike in France. You can study for 5 years day and night with Michael Phelps on the mechanics of swimming. But guess what? When Lance puts you on a bike at the top of a hill, you probably gonna wreck. When you get thrown in the ocean by Michael Phelps, you probably gonna drown if all you've done is invested in the preparation and the study. Tacit knowledge attached to skills puts a demand on you to take action and do the thing so that you can actually learn to do the thing. Now, if you had to have a choice, would you study for 5 years, then get on the bike or get in the ocean? Or could you jump in the ocean and get on the bike and choke out and cough on water and get salt water in your eyes? Maybe fall down and hit your head or bruise or bump your knees on the bike. I'll tell you this, the person who executes the action and the activity will be far beyond the person who has merely studied in preparation to execute the activity. So most people's pattern is this: let me perfect it, let me perfect it, let me perfect it, let me get it right, 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 then I'll do it. And they don't usually end up doing it. The flip side of that is, let me take action. Not launching rockets, people. Not going into surgery, people. Not building buildings. I've already addressed that in the professional requirement that demands that. I'm talking about the habit of the mind to defer to procrastination, which is avoidance of pain, period. It is the mindset that says, I must take action. I won't wait to perfect before I execute. I'm going to execute. And then once I have executed, now I'm going to work on perfecting it and tweaking it and changing it and moving it around. But you see, I'm already in motion. And thank you, Mr. Newton, who said an object in motion tends to remain in motion. An object at rest tends to remain at rest. Do you tend to remain at rest or do you tend to remain in motion? The difference, my friend, is huge. If you insist on ready, aim, you are probably rarely gonna fire. If you are constantly fire, ready, aim, you're gonna have a lot of unnecessary bumps and bruises, but you're gonna be far ahead of the rest of the pack. Ideally, it's ready, aim, fire, aim again, fire, aim again, fire. Bring in the sights a little bit better, fire, bring in the sights a little bit tighter, fire, maybe switch out my scope, fire, okay, let me try that again, fire, let me raise a little bit higher, fire, let me raise a little bit lower, fire, let me move to left, fire, Do you get the point, ladies and gentlemen? The point is simply this. You may be of the 98% that is a professional procrastinator with over-analysis paralysis disease, constantly learning and studying without taking execution. Here's the problem with that, my friends. There ain't no real thing as perfection. There's a constant working on what you are doing, living in practice, continuing to execute daily, getting better than you were the day before. What areas of your life are you avoiding the hard conversations in? What areas of your life are you avoiding the hard actions in because you're afraid? Please take the gray-haired wisdom of a 51-year-old father of 7. What little wisdom that I have that has been given to me from the good Lord because he loves you so much. He wants a rowdy old black sheep crazy guy like me to get through to you in the mornings there now and then because he loves you like that. What conversations are you not having that you need to have? What actions are you not taking that you need to take? What activities do you need to engage in that you should engage in? What are you afraid of? Hey, the worst thing that can happen is you die. Right? Big deal. You're going to die anyway. The worst thing that can happen is you could lose everything, lose all your stuff and end up on the streets. But do you know there are churches that have people who go out to feed and to clothe and to shelter while people get back on their feet? Okay, that's okay. If that's not okay, you got to be able to deal with that stuff. Ask a guy who made million, lost million, had the dream home, lost the dream home, started over again. Started at 20 years old, dead and dying, suicidal, bipolar, manic depressive, locked up in the state hospital, taken in protective custody by the legal system. Started from the bottom, now we're here. It ain't everything I want it to be, but it's a whole hell of a lot better than it used to be. I tell you, it comes from execution, then perfection, perfection, perfect it, perfect it, perfect it. Execute, tweak it, tweak it, tweak it, tweak it, tweak it. Execute, modify, 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 modify. If you do the equation backwards, my friends, I'm sad to say that you will likely live well below what is available to you in this life. The joy, the thrill, the privilege of living outside of your comfort zone where growth is imminent. I hope today you decide to execute and then perfect so that you can live the big life available to you. Have a great day, guys.